What's up, Hiker Trash, and welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, welcome to YouTube, a webpage I made back in 2008 and I haven't posted since. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of gear. It for me is important when you're either doing normal hiking or especially wild camping. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. Of course, one of the essential things you need when you start your hike is to find the right backpack. And they come in all shapes and sizes, just like people. This one, for example, is the ULA Circuit. It's not an ultralight backpack. I'm gonna make a disclaimer here, just to begin with. I am not personally an ultralight backpacker. Okay, second of all, I am not sponsored by any of these yet. I would put myself like in between casual and ultralight. So I'm just a regular light backpacker. So for me, the ULA Circuit worked just as I wanted to. This is gonna sound stupid, but I just like how it looks and also how it works, of course. For me, important things is that these water bottle holders actually also hold my camera when I hike. So that's like stupid, silly things that's important to me. But finding a correct backpack for you is gonna be easy enough. You can go down to your local outfitter and they'll definitely help you out with all you need. For me, it has to be able to carry a little more weight because I'm not ultralight. I know there's a bunch of backpacks out there. There is super duper ultralight and they'll just have bare minimum. But for the common backpacker that just wants to get out there and like start hiking, I think something like this would be perfect. It lasted me almost the whole way. I had another backpack when I began, but the ULA Circuit is definitely top tier backpack and the company is really nice. But that's why it's not as important as what this backpack is, but more what it does. And for me, it does the exact thing you need. It doesn't weigh much. It has a bunch of space, like it has so much. The important thing to notice about this one is it is not in any way waterproof. It is water resistant, which just means that it's gonna get wet, basically. For a backpack like this, you definitely need to get liners. I would always recommend liners. I haven't met anyone who has a backpack that was perfectly waterproof. These are liner bags. They are waterproof and went with the Sea Summit ones because they are just like super duper light and it's not really important which one you get as long as you get one that's waterproof. The next backpacking essential for me is of course the tent or general sleeping system. Where are you gonna sleep? Where are you gonna camp? How are you gonna camp? I never did hammocking. I do think that it's really cool and I would like to try more of it in the future, definitely. If you have a hammock company out there, hit me up. We went with the 3-person big Agnes, ultralight, high volume. Went with a 3-person because we like space. We like to have space around us, and I cannot recommend this enough. I have heard many horror stories about the big Agnes company in general. I have had no issues at all. This tent was amazing. It worked exactly how we wanted it to work. It was perfect. It was light. It was easy to set up. We could split up the stakes and the tent things. The skeleton? The tent poles? Yeah. We could split up the tent poles and the tent stakes and so that we could carry some weight, both of us. And way more sturdy than we expected it to be because we heard that you had to be really light with handling this. We also got the big Agnes ground cloth to go with it so that we had extra protection from water, which was a really good idea. And I would also definitely recommend getting a ground cloth. It does not have to be the official big Agnes. It definitely makes everything easier, but yeah, there's a bunch of tents out there. I did a lot of researching and this might not be the perfect match for you, but if you can't decide between 2 tents and one of them is a big Agnes tent, I would always recommend this one. In the sleeping system category, we have my sleeping pad. I changed my old sleeping pad, which was like a off-brand kind of Danish brand called Asavik, and I changed it for the sole reason that was too noisy. Noise. I don't know if I can make... That's the sound normally, it makes a sound all through the night. It was a little bit big too, but definitely mostly too noisy, which turned out to be not the right change then, because this one is also a little bit noisy. It is not as much like the other one. People were joking that I was blowing up balloon animals during the night because it was like it's a weird fabric. I will recommend Nemo Tensor Insulated, and this is a regular wide because I'm a broad-shouldered gal. Oh, this is like an ASMR now. Sleeping bag ASMR. Go to sleep. Choose the best sleeping pad out there. What I'm trying to say is choose a sleeping pad that's gonna make you feel comfortable. Don't go with like a tiny sleeping pad foam one if you just because you think that's what you need to get because you see all the ultralight backpackers out there, that's what they get. You do not need that. This weighs a little bit, but not enough to ditch the comfort. I enjoyed this thoroughly. It was easy to blow up, it is easy to handle, and it's perfect. It's a perfect sleeping pad for me, and I definitely feel like comfort wins over weight in this category. Because I do not like to sleep uncomfortably. I will not get up and have a good days of hiking. I haven't had a good night's sleep. Next up is actually one of my favorite pieces of gear. It's my sleeping bag. And I think it's really important that your sleeping bag is definitely and should be some of your favorite gear. I have gone with the Katabatic Flex 22 Quilt. It's actually a quilt. And it has a fill power of 850. It is water resistant again. It is definitely takes in a lot of moisture because we went on the Appalachian Trail and it's very humid, but it's okay. It dries out just as quickly as it gets damp. It's just an amazing quilt, and it kept me warm way down below the 22 degrees that it promised, and I was comfortable. And so yeah, you definitely go out there and get yourself I would always recommend a quilt now. I have tried sleeping bags, and for me the ability to open it up and spread it out wide and just enjoy it even when there's a warm day, wrap my legs around it, and it doesn't get too hot for me, even though it's a really warm sleeping bag. It just I never changed it. I never went to a higher degree sleeping bag even though it got really warm. And so quilt will always be my recommendation for the best sleeping system. And as you can see here, it just it packs down so small. Why it's also important to have a compression bag sack. The event worked really perfectly for me, and I would probably recommend this again. Yeah, this is all about things I'm recommending. A compression bag for your sleeping bag so that it can compress small. Do it. Still part of the sleeping system, pillows. This is a non-essential, I would say. I enjoy thoroughly having a pillow. I sleep way better with a pillow, but there's so many ways that you can make pillow, which brings me to the puff can also become your pillow. Would I say that you absolutely need a pillow? Definitely not. I recommend it because I enjoy it. I think, again, sleeping is such a big part. Being well rested, being ready for the day, being ready to get out there and hike. Why wouldn't you just make that your number one priority, that you get good night's sleep? This one is just like a blow up one. It has a little bit of dow in it, which makes it really nice and soft. That brings me to my puff. It's very important on any trail, no matter what weather you get, because the weather changes all the time. And this is your last defense against a dark art, such as wind and cold and random snowstorms blowing in the middle of spring or start summer. Yes, that happens all the time. This puff especially has been so great. It's from I'd actually say that this is the one to get because it just kept me so warm. It's a Mountain Hardware one, and I like to go with a hoodie because that's why it keeps me even warmer, especially when I have to sleep. Puff. Definitely get yourself a good puff to keep you warm in any kind of weather. Don't go with the shitty, cheap ones. I'm sorry, they won't work as well. Get a good quality one. It'll last you longer. It'll keep you warmer. It'll keep you safer. We hiked with people who didn't have any sleeping bags, but they definitely have a puff, because they just knew that this is the most important thing you need. Which brings me to more clothing. What is more important than your shoes? Are these the best shoes ever? No. Not for me at least. These are the Hoka Speedgoats. You can see that they're pretty torn up. I wore them for the last 500 miles or so. They are really great, and they're in a close second. And the only reason I did not like him is because of the slim shoebox. You're probably gonna hear a lot about shoeboxes if you're gonna do more research. Just know there's wide shoeboxes and there's slim shoeboxes, and these ones are slim for some reason, and everyone knows that that's not good. What I will say about these ones is they're incredibly durable. It may not look like it, but after 600 miles, this is great. It's not even coming off full. I mean, there's a little bit of the heel here, but what I think is important in hiking shoes in general is having that cushion. Take all the hard steps you do through the day. You're gonna be on your feet a lot, so keeping them cushioned is top priority. And you're probably wondering, well, if these aren't your favorite shoes, which one are? And for me, it's the Olympus 3 Ultras. I know, Olympus 3 Ultras, what the heck is that? I heard about the Lone Peaks, but they're awful, and you should never ever get Lone Peaks. Ultras, Olympus are so much better in so many ways. They have that thick cushioning, they have the wide toe box, and they have the zero drop. which is all just like essentials for me now ever since I tried different kind of shoes. So you should definitely think about the cushioning when you buy shoes. I know there's a bunch of shoe companies out there that have similar styles, and there's definitely going to be a lot more competition coming up next year, which is awesome. I can't wait to see what they bring. Yes, so my top pick 2020, Olympus from Altra. Unfortunately they break too, because that's the issue with Ultras, is that everything freaking breaks in Ultras, and you know it, Ultra, because a lot of people have been texting you and writing you, so why aren't you fixing it? From shoes to socks. Socks are just as crucial as what shoes you wear. You cannot go out and wear just any stupid socks. I would forever in my life recommend Darn Toughs for different reasons. First of all, they're just great. I've been wearing these, and they can't even see the wear or tear in these, and I've been wearing them for like at least half the trail now. And what is super cool about Darn Tough isn't just like how great their socks are. Their stock exchange program is just amazing. I don't understand how that works, but it definitely does. You can take your worn out socks. They don't even have to be broken. They can just be worn out. And you can take them to a random store, a random outfitter who has the sock exchange program. And you can just exchange them for new, nice socks. I can't see how that, like, you literally only have to buy one pair of Darn Toughs and that can last you like your whole life. So Darn Tough all the way, baby. Little Appalachian trail socks. That's adorable. I love it. Almost done with the fabric side of things, but here's a little discussion. Sweatcloth or buffs? Which one would you choose? Both things are extremely important. The reason why I just adore Sweatcloth is that it saved our hike when the weather got really warm. Like, I didn't even know how important Sweatcloths were before that. And you say, but couldn't you use your buff as Sweatcloth? I don't know. Maybe perfect for cold weather. This is way better than any scarf. It's great for versatility. You can use it for so many things, just as this one can. It's both just like a piece of cloth, I guess, but this one dries out so quickly that dry in a matter of seconds. As soon as the sun hits it, it's just like the water evaporates off it. It does get a really smelly smell because of sweat. So bring this for warm, this for cold, so you can have both and you're perfectly set to go. Wild camping, as the word says, is wild. There aren't faucets, there aren't bathrooms, there aren't anything other than you and your ability to survive in the wild. So what do you need to survive? Well, you need to breathe. First of all, relax, it's gonna be fine, you'll survive. And then water. Water is the second most important thing you can ever have. Get a water filter. For that matter, get the Sawyer Squeeze. Do not get the Sawyer Micro, do not get the Sawyer Mini, get the Sawyer Squeeze. You're gonna change into this anyway, so don't even bother. And get yourself a pouch that works. Well, what is a pouch that works? Well, their own kind of doesn't work unless you're really gentle with them, which I'm not. Neolina is really gentle with hers. Her lasted so long, but I'm just a klutz with these. The bladders that work, well, I can tell you that the CNOC seems to be working great. A lot of people really enjoyed the CNOC pouches. I never got one because they were just sold out everywhere and impossible to get your hands on. This one is stupid because it's 16 ounces, like it's half a liter. At the end, that's what we had, other than something called the platypus, which was just awful. Don't ever get the platypus. It doesn't work. It's stupid and I hated it. Water came out like a liter an hour or something like that. It was insane. So don't get that. Surviving in the wild is also about animals. Animal protection, for that matter. And this is a Bearbag. Was it ever tested on bears? Not by me. I chased off all the bears because I am bear kills. I chased them off, so we never got to see it work. Unfortunately, we did see a lot of other people having these where the bears still ripped them out, like ripped them to pieces. So I don't know, maybe they tied them wrong. I don't know. I didn't see it for myself. Mine never got broken or bit or anything, so it's perfect. You just put your food in there. You can get like an odorless bag. We had one in the beginning. It broke so quickly that even Ultras would be impressed. I just used another waterproof bag inside the bag, so it's like a bagception thing. It worked. It kept my food dry. I could just hang it. I didn't have to bother with throwing rocks everywhere and made everything easy. I would recommend the Ursack unless you're going to a place where there's or laws that say state that you have to use a bear canister, then it's pretty easy to figure out what you're gonna need. But if not, go with the Ursack. And then when you're cooking your food, what is more important than your cook system? Just get like a tiny one. So for me, I never like to cook my food in my pot. I use the pot as a way to transfer water. There's a hot water to the pouch of the food. Because most things like North Sides and Mountain House, whatever, you can just cook it in the bag. You don't need to cook anything. You don't need to get messy. Hiking is all about doing the least amount of work when you're not hiking. Boil water, and the way I boil my water is with this tiny little stove. Folds out, it goes directly gas canister, which makes it a heck of a lot easier. This costed I think $10 on Amazon. I actually got it from a woman we met while hiking, and thank you so much for that, Sherry. It means the world. It lasted the whole freaking way, and it was perfect. It was all I needed. It's so teeny tiny small. It fits in your pocket. You don't need to get anything fancy. This works great, and boil your water up, and then you have a nice meal, and it doesn't take up more space like a fist. So perfect for that. Trusty titanium spork. You're gonna lose a bunch of these if you hike a lot, so take good care of them. I like this one from Cedar Summit because it has the little shoal fork thing and not just like a complete spoon. So this is a great one. Getting down to the smaller things. Headlamp for seeing. Which one do you need to get? Doesn't really matter as long as it works. This is a black diamond, just classic. You can get lighter versions, but if you don't care, like me, whatever works. Like it's just lamps, whatever. So perfect. You can use your phone even if you don't want to go out and spend more money. Poles. Debate of whether you should take poles, 2, 1 or nothing. Most tents these days, really ultralight tents, actually use poles to put up the tent. So there, I would say you need poles. We met people who did not use poles. What happened? They broke all their legs and toes and feet. Was it because they didn't bring poles? Maybe, I don't know. I just didn't see anyone with poles doing the same thing. Interesting. Poles, very important tool for rugged terrain, for hardcore climbing mountain stuff. Also generally to like help you get in a rhythm. It's just like it feels nice, and it takes you maybe a week or so, and then you get really used to it, and you can only use the poles you started with. These ones aren't like, these are just the cheapest one I can find. Trail Sport 2 Flicklock, and they just lasted me the whole trail. As you can see that it has a little bit of wear from the shoe, which I just kept the shoe on because I thought it was kind of cool seeing how much tear it made. Poles, it doesn't have to be expensive, they can be cheap. Bugnets, do we need them? Yes, no. I would say go with them because they don't wear, again, they don't weigh anything, but also we used a lot of DEET. That's my go-to brand of bug spray. DEET definitely saved us in some of the more dire situation where we were like swamped by mosquitoes. So bug nets, they'll go for camp. You'd probably be too lazy to put them on while hiking. I was. And last thing, on the things you need, underscore things you don't necessarily need list. Butt seat. Butt seats are great. They keep your butt warm. You don't have to sit on wet surfaces. You can sit everywhere, and it just makes me comfortable. And then I actually have to say, go with the name brand one. This is the Cedar Summit, I think. Because if you go with an off-brand one, they usually tend to like get really squeezed. Like I started out with a really cheap one, and it lasted me like about a month, and then there was no more cushion in them. So just go with like a name brand of these, and you'll probably be having more luck with them. At the end there is batteries. Batteries. Do you need batteries if you carry stuff that needs charging? Yes. This huge battery, because I have a lot of things to charge. So this is a must-have for me. But you can definitely get smaller batteries if you just charge your phone and you don't really use it while hiking. As I film while doing my hikes, this is very important to me. So get your battery that fits your needs. Well, I think that kind of settles what I wanted to say today. The thing to take away is these are the basic things that you need to get. There's a lot of other stuff that you can get, like especially you didn't talk too much about like pants. What pants are the most great pants? Because it doesn't freaking matter. All the hiking pants are fine. You can also just do with like sweatpants, or you can go with like something else. Like I hiked in freaking, look at these. I hiked in these stupid ass shorts most of the time, because I thought they were like kind of funny looking, and they were nice and cold, like nice and airy. So I also hiked in hiking pants when it was cold. So it's all about the weather, what kind of clothes you want. There's a thumb rule: cotton kills, go with anything. Wool. I think that's about enough of me rambling for now. If there's any questions, anything, you can ask me down below and I'll get back to you. If there's any gear that you want like more in-depth reviews on, or me going more into details of why I choose these specific things, you can also ask down below and I'll get back to you. But if that's all, I'll say thank you for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe, because if you don't, I'll starve. So like this video if you like this video, and then have a nice day and go out and hike. Like, it's all about experience. I didn't nail all this down by just doing like 2 hikes, because back then everything was bad. Now everything is great and I'm a freaking mastermind. No, this is stupid. Thank you for watching this video, and happy hiking, take care, and hope to see you in the next video.